Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. This is L3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, Tuesday, September 26, 2017, Tuesday night along the New River of Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, you'll be hearing people driving over the bridge and all that good stuff. So I'm just kicking back. Yeah, so I just had an interesting little show on the whole NFL thing and Trump. You can hear it in my last episode. Did my rant and information at the same time. So, yeah, well, actually I'm going to decide to talk about Catalonia on this potential independence. So like there's some controversies are happening with the Spanish government not honoring it. Ooh, they love centralization, do they? Nothing new at all. And that's what the southern states seceded. Abraham Lincoln said, "To hell with you." So similar. If you study your history, you understand where I'm coming from. So, I'm going to be mainly talking about Catalonia, Franco's return. And this is actual news bud exclusive. Came out yesterday to be exact. And if you want to actually read it, subscribe. It's members content only. I haven't really got any slack from them on it, so I just did it just to let you folks know what they have to say. There'll be a few things here, and this is from NewsBuds once again. Catalonia, Franco return. Catalans are drawing comparison of the brutal rule of El Clodial, the Spanish dictator for Francisco Franco, after the Spanish central government began its crackdown on a planned referendum for Catalonia independence. Officers raided and members of the Catalan government arrested on September 20th by Spain's Guardia Civil Police as part of an effort to derail an independence vote scheduled for October 1st. Madrid ruled the referendum illegal and imposed a ban. Police seized ballots and documents related to the referendum and later took over payments of essential services and public workers' salaries to prevent Catalonia from spending money. Can we say extortion, RICO, racketeering? So like the IRS in the Spaniard version. The Spanish government also ordered banks to control all movements in the accounts and credit cards managed by Catalan leaders. Big Brother 1984, Franco style, right? On September 22nd, the Spanish Interior Ministry chartered 3 ferries to house police in preparation for a crackdown. 3 ships arrive and will stay in the ports of Barcelona and Tarragona, where police and Guardia Civil forces will stay, said the central government's representative office in Catalonia. How sweet is that, right? Ooh, yeah, man, absolutely. So, that's something they don't really like. And remember, we all know, too, that Spain is part of the European Union, right? Yeah, of course. It's so obvious. They don't want freedom, love, and sovereignty individuals around. So, we're just going to continue on here in a moment. I just forgot to type in the Spanish Constitution. Oh, hold on here. They don't want to, I'm not going to do a PDF format as of yet. But it's really interesting. It's been going on for a good period of time. So we're just going to explore a little bit more. I'm just going to get this one set up. I should have gotten that arranged a while back, because I'm going to have to learn what the Spanish Constitution is all about. Sorry about that. So we can learn together, shall we? Absolutely. So, we'll just continue on here. According to a spokesman for the port in Barcelona, the police said the number of 16,000 will stay until October 3rd, 2 days after the scheduled referendum vote. A recent Guardia Civil tweet described the presence of its officers in Catalonia as La Tormenta, or the storm. Guardia Civil operation is dubbed in Anubis named after the Egyptian god of death. President of Catalonia, Carlos Puigdemont, told The Guardian that even during the worst of ETA era, the government did not deploy massive numbers of police. ETA and acronym for Escudeta Ascatonsa, or Basque Homeland and Liberty, was formerly in the leftist Basque Nationalist and Separatist organization in the Basque County in northern Spain and southwestern France. Wow, sounds like Homeland Security, huh? How would people in the UK feel if ferries stuffed with police officers suddenly turned up where they live? Or if they saw police vans all over the motorways and paramilitary police like the Guardian Civil raiding newspaper offices or government buildings or private homes and arresting people as if they were dealing with terrorists, Puigdemont told the newspaper. The repressive tactics of the Spanish government are reminiscent of the Franco era. After Franco defeated the democratically elected Spanish Republic and staged a military coup with the assistance of Hitler and Mussolini, Catalans experienced the annulment of the state Statute of Autonomy gained in 1932 and the curtailment of civil liberties and banning the Catalan institutions and prohibition and persecution of political parties and censorship. During the Spanish Civil War, Catalonia, Valencia, and the island of Majorca sided with the Republicans and paid dearly for this. On Majorca, hundreds of arbitrary executions took place. People were tried and had property confiscated, while others ended up in prison and concentration camps. Leaders of the leftist labor organizations, journalists, teachers, and many professionals were not allowed to leave. So talk about detainment. In 1938, toward the end of the Civil War, many Catalans were rounded up by Franco's forces and put before military tribunals and courts. Auditorias de guerra, and if convicted, executed. In Barcelona, over 1,600 executions took place in the open air at the Camp de la Bota and the Bobo Nawal district, writes Conzita Grupo, a professor of contemporary history at the University of Lleida. Elsewhere in Catalonia, people were actually shot against cemetery walls. Consequently, the large mass graves containing the bodies of dozens of executed Republicans are to be found in graveyards. Some 500 people were buried in each of the mass graves in the cemeteries of Tarragona and Lleida, writes Franco. Data on people buried in mass graves brought before the Audiencia Nacional Court, which is National Court, hope I pronounced that right, on October 16, 2008, indicated 114,266 people were killed primarily in Andalusia and Aragon. In addition, tens of thousands of people disappeared. Disappears del Francumos. Little has been done by the government to settle the issue. Today, the survivors and the relatives of those who disappeared as a result of Franco's repression, those described as rebels, bandits, or simply murderers in the sentence handed down by a judicial system that was a farce, are still waiting reparation, albeit in moral form, writes Franco. In Valencia, approximately 5,000 were executed. In total, between 10,000 and 11,000 people were murdered in the Catalan countries by Franco's forces. Hundreds of prisoners were forced to take part in practice known as sacas enjambladas, or explanatory removal. Following the identity parades conducted by the fascists, they were usually shot in public square and buried in mass graves. Count Ciano, Mussolini's Minister of Foreign Affairs, claimed that 150 executions a day were taking place in Barcelona. Italy provided Franco with arms, including 70 aircraft, a violation of a non-intervention agreement it had signed along with other 27 countries, including Germany, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Franco's legacy lived on after his death in 1975. Spain has not de-Francoized as Germany has been de-Hitlerized. Felix Ortega, a sociological professor at Universidad Complutense de Madrid, told the Christian Science Monitor in 2013. Although Spain has a number of small fascist groups, the real threat of resurgent fascism comes from members of the government, specifically the PP, Popular Party, that governs Spain but is a minority in the Catalonian parliament. In many parts of the country, for instance, in Galicia, in areas in Spain's northwest, local governments under the rule of the PP proudly displayed pictures of the dictator. Franco era and Nazi memorabilia is often openly exhibited in public. The symbols of Franco era abound on church walls, street names commemorating the dictator's generals, and the massive balisa and towering across the Valley of the Fallen where Franco is buried. In Spain, and to a lesser extent in some of other countries, the immediate danger is not so much from a handful of incipient reactionary movements, but rather from underlying official permissiveness from more mainstream conservative parties like the Popular Party, bordering on parnonage, writes Andres Calas. Some elected popular officials, party officials, and party militants are openly making the Nazi statue, proudly displaying fascist flags and other memorabilia, and posting pro-Franco messages on social media sites. In 2013, the PP delegate of Catalonia, Maria de los Llanos de Luna, gave a diploma of honor to represent the Brotherhood of Cabannes of the Blue Division, Cámara de Cabannes de la División Azul. The Blue Division was a unit of Spanish volunteers that served in the German army on the Eastern Front during the Second World War. Spain's Guardia Civil has demonstrated allegiance to Falangism, the Spanish variety of fascism. In June 2015, nearly 24 officers from the Spanish Civil Guard posed before a statue of Franco in the Spanish North African alcalde of Melilla. It should be noted that the man the central government has assigned to take over Catalonia's police, Diego Perez de los Cobos, was accused of torturing an ETA prisoner. The brother of Perez was president of the Constitutional Court between 2011 and 2017. Man, can we see conflict of interest? Finally, the independence movement in Catalonia threatens the fragile cohesion of the European Union. In addition to Catalonia, the Basque region, Flanders, Veneto, the Faroe Islands, Corsica, South Tyrol, Bavaria, Silesia, and others are pushing for more autonomy or outright secession. Scotland and Catalonia in particular present two distinct independent movements in the midst of the continental power centralization, writes Thomas Uriah Patrick of Boston College Law School. Their efforts present novel and serious challenges both to their governing states and to the European Union itself. The European Union must aid the resolution of these movements or face sacrificing its own legitimacy. Either way is the course of action threatens to unleash a chain reaction that may ultimately compromise its decision-making during capabilities and undermine its very future. Although the EU insists the Catalonia crisis is an internal Spanish issue, it is publicly supporting Mariano Rajoy, the Prime Minister and leader of the People's Party. The EU's chief executive, Jean-Claude Juncker, cited the Prodi doctrine, where Catalans say they may consider joining the EU after breaking away from Spain. He said a breakaway state would be dropped from the Union and only be let back in if it has gained independence in accordance with the constitutional law in the member state it left. Juncker Also criticized regional traditions that he said have become elements of separatism and fragmentation of Europe. In other words, a threat to the dominance of the European Union. Tacit support by EU bureaucrats of Spain's hardline against Catalan independence may result in bloodshed and further radicalize the populace. Spain cannot afford another armed political conflict like the one it waged against the Basque National Liberation Movement. That conflict cost Spain a large number of lives, including politicians, members of the military and police forces, and innocent civilians. Looks like Spain is in desperate need because the truth of the matter is they're considered one of the greatest economic forces in that area. If Catalonia succeeds on being separate from Spain, it will hurt the Spanish economy as well as the EU. I do not support Catalonia going to the EU if they break. They should be an official sovereign nation, not chartered to another political entity or governmental institution. If you do that, you get the same results. Catalonia should be free, willing individuals. And it's interesting because here's some stuff that happened in their timeline, which you got from DW.com. Timeline of modern Catalonia. 1932, Catalonia gains autonomy a year after the establishment of the Spanish Republic. Spanish dictator Francisco Franco annuls Catalonia autonomy and suppresses Catalan language and culture. That's from 1939 and 1975. Catalonia is granted a statute of autonomy following the adoption of the Spanish Constitution the previous year. The Constitution states that the Spanish nation is an indivisible unity, but recognizes the self-government of the nationalities and the regions and solidarities among them all. 2006, Spanish and Catalan governments agreed on expanding the Statute of Autonomy. 2010, the Spanish Supreme Court ruled that part of the 2006 autonomy are legal, including the word that defines Catalonian people as a nation. 2012, about 1.5 million people take part in Catalonia independence rally in Barcelona. Rallies followed by snap elections that sees independence referendum supporters gain control of the parliament. 2014, the regional government holds a non-binding referendum on independence deemed illegal by Madrid. The referendum passes with 80% support, but with low turnout. A lot of fear in that, huh? 2015, separatist parties vowing to push forward with an independent vote gain control of parliament in the regional elections. 2017, Catalan President Carles Puigdemont called for a binding independence referendum on October 1st. Looks like Spain is that desperate. Now I'm just going to look at some of the areas of their constitution, so bear with me here, please. Very intriguing indeed. The Spanish government is desperate, and so is the European Union. How can the Club of Rome get to this? You hear stuff in the background. And it's interesting too about some of the stuff here. The Catalonia and all that. Equal rights and duties. Spaniards and aliens. Rights and freedoms. Fundamental public freedom. Let's see if I can find it here. Fundamental rights are recognized and protected. That's Article 20, Section 1. Right to freely express and spread thoughts and opinions through words and writing and other means of reproduction. Hey, pretty cool there. Rights of association is granted. I don't really see it here. Hold on. I'm just looking. I'm just seeing what I can find. I should have done this a while back. All sincerity. Rights and duties of citizens. Have the right and duty to defend Spain. Providence and inheritance. Yeah. Just, Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm going to have to look at this another time. I should have done this earlier and boldly admit that. And I do apologize for that, my friend, on here. But it's really interesting when they believe that they don't want to see Catalonia be independent. Well, like I said, I would like to see that happen and squash the legacy of Franco and his regime. But I do see some areas here I find very intriguing. Like I said about Spain, I like it right here. Section 27(4). Elementary education is compulsory and free, so you have to force to go to their education. Huh. So, rights, duties of citizens. Well, you know what? I'm going to have to look at this another time, and I do apologize for that. But just give them a more intake about the whole thing on Catalonia. Like I said, it should be a free, sovereign nation. It's their decision, no one else's. And it looks like the Spanish government, once again, is desperate. Too bad. That's how I look at it. What's best for Catalonia, people of Catalonia, you gotta make your own decision. Natural born rights, for sure. Okay, my friends, I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or even send something interesting you may want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondences with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Freedoms Network, Scene.life, Futurenet.club, Patreon.com/LuckyLuck3 if you want to be a patron or a supporter, donor, etc. Or you can hit me on Gab, social media site. You can say it's a little bit equivalent to Twitter, but more pro free speech at gab.ai. In addition, you can email me at LuckyLuck3, number 3 at gmail.com, or to the encrypted ones, LuckyLuck numbers 03 at protonmail.com. That's all for now, my friends. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.